Good morning and welcome to the latest episode of Tom Talk Live. It's going to be a long football season for Jets and Giants fans edition. I want to do a Tom Talk shout out to the Sussex County Sheriff's Office. The office is the first and oldest established law enforcement agency in Sussex County, with divisions related to civil process, courthouse security, canine, warrants, emergency dispatch services, and more. The Sheriff's Office is a comprehensive, multifaceted law enforcement agency representing all of the residents of Sussex County with pride and distinction. For more information on the Sussex County Sheriff's Office, please visit sussexcountysheriff.com today. Event recap. The pool season has concluded. Thank you so much for visiting our great facility. The summer concert series at the college and movie nights at Memory Park were a great success. The meet and greet for the town and Greater Newton Chamber of Commerce was also well attended, and the annual Taste of Newton was an epic event of gastric proportions. Coming up, we have the annual Newton Fall Festival and Car Show, Sunday, October 13th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The annual Halloween Parade will be Thursday, October 31st. The Flags of Honor event will be at Town Hall on Saturday, November 9th, and the annual Holiday Parade will be Saturday, November 30th on Spring Street. In the last episode of Tom Talk Live, we had our new full-time animal control officer, Kai Cremando. Today, we continue our flagrant attempt for high ratings, social media influence, and unlimited free tickets to the annual Crime Stoppers cocktail reception by interviewing the man who has led the preeminent county law enforcement agency in the state of New Jersey since 2011, our good friend, Sheriff Mike Strada. Great to have you on our program today, Sheriff Strada. All right, tell us, exactly what is a sheriff? What do you do for a living?
So I'm one of three constitutional officers in the county, and I oversee obviously the Sussex County Sheriff's Office, and we're a secondary law enforcement agency, provide support to all the municipal departments and the state police throughout the county.
All right, I talked about how long you've been in the position. What did you do prior to becoming sheriff?
I was a police officer in Mount Olive Township in Morris County, and prior to that I was at the Morris County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. And how did your upbringing impact the choices you made with your education and career?
My father always instilled hard work, and you can achieve anything you want as long as you put your mind to it and work hard to it. And I've always stuck by those principles.
If you could go back in time and give advice to the younger version of yourself, what advice would you give and why?
Well, I'm a big financial guru right now, so I study finance. So I think if I knew a lot more back then, I probably would be a multi-millionaire right now and not even be standing here, but that's about it.
And what do you consider to be your greatest life or career achievement?
Two things. Number one is when I was in the military and I deployed to Iraq, and then number two would be becoming a sheriff.
If I could give you a do-over, what would be the one project, life decision, or choice you made that you would do over, and why?
I probably would have started college a little earlier. When I began police work, you didn't need a college education. I came out of the military after 4 years, and I was fortunate enough to start a law enforcement career. But I ended up getting my degree much later, but I achieved it. So.
And what was the most challenging experience you went through in your life, and how did you persevere?
Again, probably going back to my military time when I deployed to Iraq. You sign up for the military and you just train every day to fight or do whatever job you have. And at the time, it was the first conflict since Vietnam. So you did all this training, and then it was like, wow, we're actually gonna have to implement this training and do it. And it was a real challenge to deploy over there and do the mission and complete the mission. So.
All right, tell us, what's a typical day like in the sheriff's office?
A typical day for me is coming in and checking emails just like everybody else, and that usually results in some kind of more work. You always have something planned for the day, but once you check your emails, that could deviate. Something could become what you think is a problem last week is not a problem this week. As you know, things are constantly changing, and you're putting fires out, you're handling personnel issues. Just for example, just before you came in, our emergency management office is deploying up to Sussex Borough for an emergency, so you just never know where the day's going to take you.
All right, who is the client base? Who exactly do you serve?
We serve all 24 municipalities, and we're a support role to the 13 municipal police departments and the state police, who covers 11 of those 24 municipalities.
Now, since you started in Mount Olive and you've been here, I think I know the answer, but how has law enforcement changed or evolved in all of those years? What's different today than it was years ago?
We're just much more transparent with everything. You know, we went from cameras in the cars. I mean, when I first started, we didn't have cell phones. Now, and then we went to cameras, dashboard cameras in the police cars. Then we went to body worn cameras. Now we have cameras in the back seat of the car. We're just a lot more transparent with everything we do. As you know, Oprah comes out, so people are able to get pretty much anything they want from us, which is a good thing. I believe in transparency. I believe that 99% of our officers, as well as yours, do a phenomenal job. So we don't have any issue sharing that information. Some people say, well, it's a change. I think it's actually changed for the better, because if you run a good organization, you shouldn't be afraid to put that information out and show the job that your officers are doing. So I've seen that that's actually helped us, as I'm sure it's helped Newton.
All right, I'm sure you've dealt with all kinds of interesting cases and calls, issues, projects. Talk to the residents about what can they do as, average people going about their lives to stay safe, be vigilant in, kind of an uncertain world.
One of the things I do is I go out, I speak a lot to a lot of different senior organizations, and I just tell them to be careful with the scams. Every day somebody's coming out with something new. And I tell the seniors too, you're the eyes and ears of the community. So certainly if you see something that's not right, call your local police department or the state police and report it. Because we really need to take care of each other in this county, and I think we do a good job of that.
What do you think makes Sussex County a great place to work or volunteer?
We have everything here. We're a very rural county. If you're fortunate enough to have a job here, you're not fighting traffic going east or into Morris County. And we do have everything here that we need.
Are there other law enforcement agencies in the county or state that you admire or follow? Who inspires you to be your best?
Well, I have family members in law enforcement. My whole family's in law enforcement. So, sometimes this job obviously can be pretty demanding. So you always need somebody to, answer the phone sometimes and give you some advice. And I lean on some of my family members that are in law enforcement or were in law enforcement for those.
All right, some fun questions. If aliens landed in front of you and in exchange for anything you desired, offered you any position on their planet, what would you want and why?
I would want some kind of a leadership position, but a leadership position helping people.
Okay.
That's what I would want.
If you had to be shipwrecked on an island, but all your human needs were taken care of, what 2 items would you want to have with you and why?
A cell phone and a laptop, so I could communicate with people.
Okay. Favorite cartoon?
Flintstones.
Favorite food?
Pizza. I could eat pizza every day.
Favorite movie?
Rambo.
Favorite superhero?
Spider-Man.
Favorite sports team?
New York Yankees.
And favorite musical band or act?
Eagles.
All right. Tell us what you love about the county of Sussex and the town of Newton.
It's just a sense of community, and I'm not just saying this, but you guys in Newton really, really do a great job of bringing the community together. Always see events that you're hosting, and it's always everybody's welcome. And I think that just speaks volumes for your town that, you're always trying to, again, bring the community together, bring businesses in. And I see that a lot with Newton. And again, I'm all over the county. I don't see that as much in some of the other municipalities.
All right, let's talk about the building we're standing in. Where there's a lot of monitors and things. Where are we, and what is this for?
This is our County Emergency Operations Center. So, when we have some kind of an emergency, we deal, obviously, we deal a lot with power outages. And in Newton, you don't see that as much as we see in some other parts of the counties, but we're so rural. You get out to Sanderson, you Montague, some people are out of power for, a week or two. So we run this operation out of here. If we get a power outage, we'll have JCP&L here. We'll have other partners here. And this is our command center to run that operation to get, whether it's a snowstorm, power outages, to get things up and running. So this is the kind of the meeting place.
And what else is in this building where we are?
We have the county fire marshal, again, Office of Emergency Management. We have the county 911 dispatch center.
And who do you dispatch for? Tell them, explain dispatch and who you dispatch for.
Okay, so there's 24 municipalities in the county. We take the 911 calls for 11 of the municipalities, which are covered by the state police. And then we also take the 911 calls and dispatch for Byram Township. So we have 12 municipalities. We'll dispatch fire, first aid, police for Byram, and then when a 911 call comes in for the state police, depending on what it is, we'll transfer it to the state police.
And are there any, whether this building or anything anywhere else in the department, any projects, anything you're looking to advance with the department, grants, or are there things that you're trying to work on the next few years that are big projects or anything that's coming?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think emergency management everywhere is kind of, since COVID, has taken a front seat. Like, hey, we saw an emergency that we've never seen, and I think it put all of us by really concentrating on, hey, these kind of things can happen. So we're working on now getting some buildings. We're getting more equipment. We ran the COVID vaccination site at the fairgrounds. That was a tremendous undertaking. We have a lot more emergency management equipment now, most of which we're getting by grants, and we loan that out to a lot of municipalities. So we're putting some buildings up to get that equipment under cover so it lasts longer. We have buildings now to house more of our health department stuff, county health department, and just basically some of our emergency vehicles.
Last question, I know it's important to people in Newton. Anything going on with the county jail? And just explain how that process played out about the jail in Morris County, and then if you know anything about where it goes in the future.
Sure. So that's a great question. Back in 2019, we decided to partner with Morris County. When bail reform came into effect, we went from an average of 220 inmates down to about 50. And we had 80 corrections officers at the time. Just did not make a lot of financial sense to have more officers than inmates. So I made a decision that we were going to consolidate with Morris County, contract with them, and it was just much more feasible to send our inmates there. We were going to originally be a temporary holding facility for inmates still in Sussex County. So with bail reform, you have to go in front of a judge within 48 hours. So we were going to, if any inmate got arrested in Sussex County, the police department or state police would bring them to the county. We would process them, and they would stay with us for 24 or 48 hours before they saw a judge. Unfortunately, with COVID, that threw a little bit of a wrench because we needed to have medical right away. And again, it just wasn't feasible to have medical staff 24 hours a day. We don't take a lot of inmates in there, so it actually moved us faster to get our inmates over to Morris County. So what we do now is we don't house anybody at the jail. We have officers there that come out to the local PDs or the state police, pick up the inmate and bring them right to Morris County. So we're not housing anybody there. We are looking to build another building to move the individuals, the officers that are in the jail now, out to another building, which will be out here, but that building will not house any inmates. So we have a long-term contract with Morris County, and that's going to stay in place for a while.
The county is trying to make determinations about what to do with the building, right? That's a big point of discussion.
And that's not, I have nothing to do with the building and the decisions that are made there. That's going to be up to the county commissioners,
Tom Talk fun fact, I used to work for the Morris County Sheriff's Office, and I remember the day that the inmates moved into the new facility. Thank you, Sheriff.